Hi everybody, thank you for tuning in. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. I've had to keep quiet for a while just for my own sanity. I want to talk about trauma because our entire society is facing a severe mental health crisis, which I did predict way back when I started doing these videos. This mental health crisis isn't a secret anymore. We are seeing it throughout every single institution in our social structure. So what I want to talk about is the mental health crisis. It's no secret we're facing it. This mental health crisis has been bolstered by the economic crisis. So in understanding this, it's important to look at our current social structures at a municipal, a provincial, a national, and then a global level. Our social structures are created by a management team, and that's also known as our government. So and they manage our society right down to an individual level because it's a trickle-down effect, almost as though it's a pyramid scheme that we're living in. So think of humans as a crop or a livestock, if you will. We need fertile soil to thrive and to produce, to be productive members. We need our soil to be fertile. And it's no different than how the farmers treat their crops, their livestock. Things need to be healthy, to be moving, and to be productive, and then therefore lucrative. So right now we're seeing the results of a sick society, and the results of that are poor mental health. It's anxiety, it's depression, it's everything that we are seeing in the news as far as the mental health degradation. We're exhibiting the signs of a nation who has been poisoned. This crisis is by design, and we as humans are exhibiting the effects. Burnout, anxiety, shame goes with that. Isolation, depression, suicidal ideation, all of it. We feel sick because this is not what we as a collective wanted for ourselves. All the while we thought we were building a happy, healthy future for our children when we were being deceived the whole time. Our upper management teams have failed us miserably. This mental health crisis is a symptom of a sick society, and never forget that. Do not internalize this mental health crisis as something intrinsically wrong with you. It is something wrong with our external environment. So in feeling this, we have to start being solution-oriented. Poverty, that is the root cause of most mental illness because it activates fear. And that fear causes a paralyzing reaction. So we stay stuck. Like we feel like we're stuck in the mud. We don't know how to move forward. We don't know how to make positive change when the people at the top just aren't hearing us. We're left sitting back, stuck in the mud, suffering, starving, going cold, deciding which bills to pay, how to feed our kids. When our necessities of life are taken away from us, there is no sense of security, there's no sense of safety, and then we get anxiety. When families have to choose between heat or feeding themselves, that sense of security is removed. Make no mistake, this is a form of trauma. And trauma cannot be healed until there is a sense of security and safety. In order to recover from this, we need to make safety come back. Safety for our families, for our communities, and for ourselves on an individual level. Relief will not come until we acknowledge and recognize that poverty is the root cause of this. I can't say that enough. Poverty is the root cause of most trauma, and we are feeling that as a collective whole. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'm going to put that up beside me so you guys have a visual. That demonstrates this perfectly. We start at the bottom with food, shelter, and clothing. Most of us as families are having a hard time just making those ends meet because of inflation. Therefore, when you go a step above, you can't feel safe and secure in your future. So without feeling safe and secure, guess what happens? You isolate yourselves off from the rest of society, from your community, which takes away that feeling of belonging. When you don't feel like you belong to a safe, healthy environment, can you have a sense of self-esteem? No. You don't feel worthy as an individual to even reach out to your community because of that sense of shame. And it all goes back down to poverty. Why couldn't I do better? Why couldn't I make ends meet? You start beating yourself up instead of because you don't want the other people to beat you up for it. So that's why the isolation happens. Self-isolation, right? You isolate yourself away because of the shame. So then there's no self-esteem left anymore to even go out and try to make a change. That's that paralyzing feeling that so many people are feeling right now. Then you cannot become the best version of yourself. Why don't they want us becoming the best versions of ourselves? Because we would start creating something better for ourselves, for our future, and most importantly for the kids, our kids who are going to inherit what we leave behind. That is the most important point. Healing can't take place until we acknowledge this, and this is trauma. So to start the healing process, we are going to have to become active in building what we want. Start by requesting local statistics. That can be done if you're in Alberta through FCSS, Family Community Support Services. They should have all those stats up to date, and we are welcome to them. Try and get those in your local communities and distribute them. Distribute the knowledge, because we are at a crisis point. And the only way we avoid that is by seeing it coming, so to speak. We see that large iceberg, we turn the ship, we steer around it. This time we can't sink, we can't afford that, our kids can't afford that. So we need to steer around this, and we need to do it by being prepared. So that is where we go into creating hope. In order for us to begin feeling hopeful for a better future, we need to restore back to a baseline of safety to mobilize and take action. We need to transform our fears into positive fighting energy. Because poverty creates trauma, we have issues of being stuck and immobilized as a whole society. We survive with hope, with prayer, and with meditation, by using our built-in creativity to move forward. And each and every one of us has a different role in that, our strengths, our talents. We need to draw on that. We need to draw on what we're good at, where we really thrive. So by creating communities focused on healing, this institutional betrayal, and that's a real thing, institutional betrayal is a real thing, and it's hard to come back from, and that's what we're going to have to do. We are living through it right now. Accountability starts with each one of us. It starts with truth and remembering who we are and what we truly want. We do not want what we are living right now. I can guarantee that. We can build back to a sense of safety by treating our neighbor the way we should be treating ourselves, by treating ourselves the way we should be treating our neighbor. Love one another. Experience empathy. Put yourself in your neighbor's shoes. We need to stop the judgment so we can remove shame. Start healing together. That's the only way we're going to move forward. Start understanding there is nothing wrong with us, but something wrong with our upper management. Nobody is coming to save us. Nobody. It's up to us at this point. The golden rule still applies today. Do unto others as you would have do unto you. Today more than ever, we need empathy, and it's time to realize we're exhibiting the symptoms of a sick society. History repeats itself, just never the same way twice. We're at a crossroads point right now, and it's decision-making time. Time to decide on an individual level who you want to be, and I believe we are here to create a better future for our children. It starts with us. Going to the grocery store should not trigger anxiety and fear like it does. This mental health crisis isn't going away until we make it go away. The root cause of this is poverty and upper management. We need to take it back and start managing ourselves. Start growing your own food. Start going out and talking to people and finding out where the issues lie in your community, because those issues, those problems, are actually the solutions. We shine a light on the problems, and then we get solution oriented. And it starts with knowing your neighbors. It starts with knowing your friends. It starts with loving your family. It starts with forgiveness. It starts with throwing down all of the judgment we've had on each other within the last few years. We are not each other's enemies. We're not. We have a common enemy, and that's upper management. I hate to say it. I don't like pointing fingers. I don't like pointing blame. I don't care who you are. But we all have a role to play right now if we don't want our kids paying the price of our ignorance. It is, and that's what it boils down to. It's our ignorance and it's hoping that somebody else is coming in to save us. They're not. There are no white hats. Put on your own hat and get to work. And I don't really have anything more to say on the mental health crisis except for that it is poverty induced by upper management. So upper management, if you're listening to this, grow some balls and start telling the truth and start doing what you were elected to do. You think you're in there for social services? It does not look like it. It does not look like it, and the statistics don't lie. It is a science. The stats correlate with the mental health. The poor statistics we're seeing in our healthcare, mental health, everything. That's on you, elected officials. Do your job. Do your job. Your kids are going to suffer the effects of your decisions now. And that goes down to each and every one of us on an individual level. My kids are feeling the decisions I made years ago because I didn't know what was going on. I'm more aware of how social engineering works. That's why I'm speaking out right now. I don't like putting my face to this. I don't even like the position I'm being put in, backed into a corner, that I actually have to come out and say this stuff and then suffer the judgment of it. But guess what? I'm doing it because I don't want my kids to have to do it. Poverty, you guys, poverty is the root cause of this mental health crisis, and I will not back down on that, and I'll say it again and again and again. It has fallen on deaf ears for years, and I'm going to continue saying it. I don't know how many more suicides we have to see. I don't know how many more homeless shelters have to be full. I don't know how many more food banks have to run dry on supplies before people realize this is a socially engineered issue designed to make us fight amongst ourselves instead of us getting together and creating something without permits, creating something better. I think it's time to take the ship and steer it around that iceberg before we all sink. And this will be the last time I post a video and even put my face to it. But I'm screaming from the very top of my lungs to every single one of you that has the resources to make a difference. It's time. Thank you for listening, and I will not talk to you again. Bye.